Welcome to the Daily Tanya. Today is Tuesday, the 14th day of Menachem Av, and we continue letter 5 in the Igeret HaKodesh. Let's begin with tzedakah, in this beautiful tzedakah box that my granddaughter painted. So, Gedoyle tzedakah shemekareves es hageula. Make sure your children have their own tzedakah box, so the grandchildren, so they can do the mitzvah. So we're talking about here, about the creation of the worlds through using the letters of Hashem. Our sages tell us, we learned yesterday, Beko Hashem Tzur Elamim, God created the worlds with the letters Yud and Hey of God's name. The Yud and the Hey. The Yud, God created the world to come, the spiritual worlds. God created this world using the Hey. This physical world was using the Hey. And we explained the fascinating fact about the speech that there is. We explained why is the next word the spiritual world with the Yud. We said that this is the Yud represents the Chachma, the original seminal point where everything began, the essence of God's light. And that in the world to come, this is where this world was created with this letter, because the world to come is the world of the processing godly light in the world, in Gan Eden, each person according to his level. This is where in the spiritual world, that's where it happens. And this world was created with the letter Hey. The letter Hey represents the level that is, Hey is already the processing after it went down in levels. But yet, the Alter Rebbe explained that there is that seminal essential point of the God's light also comes through and bypasses everything and goes down into this world, into this physical world. And using the example of speech, Alter Rebbe explained that there is something fascinating about the concept of speech, that the uttering of words, where does it come from? It's not something that you can learn how to pronounce words. It's not a natural thing that happens by itself. Like an animal, for example, that the cow that moves and the different animals that make different sounds, that this is more of a mechanical thing, something that in their nature. A human being has the processing of the thoughts, but the words, the communicating the thoughts through speech is something that happens on its own, meaning that it is triggered by the very soul, by the will of the soul. When you want to say a certain words, you automatically say it. You don't have to train in order to say it like you train to play a piano. And this comes because he says, Abba Yosad Barta, that father begets the daughter. The foundation, meaning the speech, represents the daughter, which is Malchus. And the foundation there is in Abba, in the level of Chachma, which is pre-intellect. It is beyond the intellect. And this is what makes the person able to speak different words. So, yet, at the same time, we say that, so basically comes out that the letter Yud, which is the Chachma, is also not only in the physical world, in the spiritual world, but also in the physical world. Yet we say that this world was created with the letter A specifically, with the letter Hey. And Alter Rebbe goes on to explain that speech, letters, have the the matter of the words, and there is the soul of the words. The words carry within them a soul, the message that goes through. And even the uttering of the words is connected with the soul of the words, with something which is higher than the intellect. It doesn't go through the process of the intellect. But then you have the matter of the words, which is the actual uttering the words. And that, the uttering of the words, the pronunciation of each word, they come from the five palates. It comes from the breath. This is the original, everything originates from the breath, and the breath is being processed through there are five different palates, the tools of articulation of the words. There are words that comes from the tongue, words from the teeth, from the lips, from the palate. And everything originates from the breath, and the breath is in the letter Hey. Letter Hey is a simple letter which comes before any processing of the breath is the Hey, Ha. Every other letter is the breath that goes through already a processing of one of the vocal articulations. So let's see how the Alter Rebbe explains this. Says the Alter Rebbe, however, the letters exist on planes of matter and form, which are also referred to as their internal aspect, meaning the form, which is their soul. You have the body and the soul of the letters. The soul is the form of the letters, the internal aspect of the letters, and their external aspect, meaning the matter, which is their body. And the Alter Rebbe goes on to explain, Ki agam shemekoyrenu mikadmus haseichel rotzein hanefesh. Although their source is the primordial stage of the intellect and the will of the soul, for as soon as the soul desires to speak, these letters are formed, as explained above. You don't have to think how to pronounce the letter Bet. What movement you have to do, it goes by itself, because it is triggered by the soul, which is before the intellect, above the intellect. This is but the form of the differentiation of the pronunciation of the 22 letters. So the form of the letters is triggered by the level of which goes beyond and above the intellect. However, you have also the body, the matter of the letters, the actual pronunciation, the physical movement that happens in order to pronounce them. This is the body of the letters, and they originate from the breath that comes out from the heart. Aval b'chinas hachoyma v'gufi savusan v'b'chinas chitzeniusan u'ahevel hayotzeh me'alev. The matter and body of their formation, however, meaning the aspect of their externality, is the breath issuing from the heart. Shemimenu mis'ave koil pashut hayotzeh me'agoren. That from them, from this breath, is formed a simple sound which proceeds from the throat. If the simple sound that proceeds from the throat, and then, how does it shape into different letters? After the sound comes out, you shape it, the sound is shaped, and which is then divided into the 22 kinds of enunciation, an expression of the 22 letters. And this is done Behei Moitzois Sapeh, Behei Moitzois Ayedus, and this is the divisions taking place through the 5 known organs of speech. Aleph, Ches, Hey, Ayin, Me'agorin. These letters through the throat. Aleph, Ches, Hey, Ayin. Then you have Gimel, Yud, Chaf, Kuf, Me'achech, Chulu. Gimel, Yud, Kaf, and Chech, they come through the palate, and so on. So you have the Bet, Vav, Mem, and Pei from the lips. So each letter has a different way of the enunciation. However, the source of it, of the beginning of everything, is the letter Hey. While the breath itself, which has its own sound, independent of the letters being spoken, is uttered by the letter Hey, the light letter, inasmuch as it lacks the substance of a complete letter. And this is the source of every letter. Which is the source of the matter and the body of the letters before their division into 22. So therefore the Hey is the source of each letter's body. And that is why our sages tell us, because the Hey, just like this world, is more of the physical part, the body of the world. That is why they say, our sages tell us that the Hey, this is what Hashem created this physical world with. That is why our sages of blessed memory said that this world was created by the Hey. It was created by the external aspect or body of the supernal letters. The source is the Hey of the divine name. So, it's a very short lesson, but very deep, of course. And also the takeaway from here, as we said, that although this physical world is created by the letter Hey, it is just a body, but yet, as we learned earlier, is that right here in this bottom line, which we are the recipient of everything, we are the bottom line. But right here, there is there's the light of Hashem that shines right here that bypasses everything. Just like in the speech, the way we are able to speak, it is not something we train. It's not something that we work on and we practice. It's something that comes from a very deep place within the soul. The same thing here in this physical world. The actions of mitzvahs that we do in this physical world comes from a very deep place within the soul, our source, which is God. And that is why what we do here in this physical world matter. And they make a difference. Every little act, every little mitzvah you do in this physical world is like you're speaking, like a child speaking. Child speaking also connects to the very essence of the soul. So this is the end of today's shir, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bezrat Hashem. Have a wonderful day.